The MrBeast team is imploding. It just keeps getting worse and worse, guys. Here we go. More MrBeast info. Let's see it.
All right, spontaneous video this time, less preparation, because this right here needs to get roasted. For anyone who doesn't know, a video came out somewhat recently from someone who claims to be a former employee of MrBeast, and that video contains about 53 minutes of content. Too long.
We reacted to that video, and it was like a movie. It was a lot. But yeah, he's absolutely right. It needs to get roasted, that Twitter post. Oh my goodness.
Didn't watch, that's totally fine, because I did my own summary breakdown, which I'll link down below in the description, with legal examples and a full description about the more meaningful claims, again, linked down below. But since all that happened, another member of the MrBeast team has come out with a statement, and that statement is absolute, irrefutable garbage that fails.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. He's totally right. It's it doesn't cover all of the most important things, and yeah, it leaves you wanting a lot more answers.
To address literally any of the important issues whatsoever in yet another example of how to irreversibly screw up your own public reputation, speedrun edition. Just to clarify, this is yet again not a video about Ava Chris Tyson. That's a whole separate problem. There's a lot of really intense issues coming out with regards to all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's right. That's a whole other bag, and not one we want to open up. Man, that is a mess.
And inappropriate behavior, and Discord servers, and private messages, and Jimmy's involved, and the list goes on. But for me, the concept of running illegal lotteries, falsifying game show results, and breaking the law is a lot more immediately interesting when it comes to the world's largest YouTuber, who is renowned across the planet for his incredible generosity, despite the fact that every single bit of it appears to be for personal gain, nothing more.
Yeah, you can tell that Upper Echelon has some strong opinions about this, and some of those I can't really disagree with, you know? MrBeast is the largest YouTuber. He has a huge identity across the world, I agree. And to be hearing some of the stuff that's coming out recently is pretty shocking and, you know, definitely stains his reputation.
Anyway, a video came out from a former employee who claimed essentially three separate things. First, the game show videos are manipulated, directly impacting the integrity of the competition. Second, physical products, namely Feastables chocolate bars, are more akin to lottery tickets than actual merchandise, directly targeting children, which is a pretty severe ethical quagmire. And
I was shocked. I had no idea that MrBeast had this whole online slot system from his Feastables bars. That is crazy to me. I had no idea. Just running an online gambling ring, essentially.
Third, during his t-shirt signing live stream events, the team is frequently offering illegal lotteries, which are either not paid out properly or otherwise violate a bevy of rules and regulations regarding sweepstakes law. In essence, the methods by which MrBeast has risen to fame and fortune is intrinsically predatory, as it leverages child psychology for maximum profit.
The way he's pulling in his fans, you know, this relationship that he's building based on, hey, if you do this, you'll get something. If you do this, you'll get something. Everybody is just waiting on bated breath, watching his videos, looking for that chance, you know, checking his social media and trying to find the next possible chance that he'll give something to them. It's a really unhealthy relationship, I think. It's a really weird way to build your platform, but it's worked, obviously.
Pretty intense allegations, if you ask me. Adding this in postscript, because I just noticed, there was 5 hours of one of these live streams where they were doing all this stuff that was still up on Facebook. And now, after all of the news of this broke, they went and took that down too.
Okay, everyone, okay, we just had a great quarterly financials discussion. And now on to the most important topic, arguably. We need to keep our secrets quiet. We've got tons of them. There's way too much to get out. It would harm our image horribly if all of our secrets got out right now. Jimmy, we are in such a good place. We have so many subscribers right now. We're making tons of money off of these fools. We need to keep our secrets very hush-hush. Jimmy, yes, Carl, yes, what is it? Come on, what is it? They know everything, Jimmy. They know all our secrets. Say what? They somehow know everything, Jimmy. All the faked videos, the illegal lottery, our faked signatures on the t-shirts, everything. And you're not joking. No, I wish I was joking, but no. Burn everything. Burn it all. Every record, every hard drive, everything we have. No one can find anything. No one can know. Burn it all. No. No. No way. No way we get this. Oh my goodness. Oh guys. Oh guys, this is getting good. They're covering their tracks. And oh man. Especially after the Dr. Disrespect stuff where he posted and he was saying like, "Oh, it was a minor," and then took out the word minor or something like that on his post about the allegations towards him. And then MrBeast doing the same thing, removing an entire video, a huge video. I think one that people, if they were aware of the video log on this page, would be aware of missing, like a 5-hour video just suddenly going missing. Yeah, they're covering their tracks hard. And I mean, you should do that, I guess, but I'm pretty sure this implicates you way more than just having the video up and having that evidence, readily available to people. This looks really bad.
So they are running around trying to pull every single clip of footage of the stuff that they did, including this one on Facebook. Yeah, that probably says something.
Right.
Don't you think? Well, in my own video, I discussed a couple of those same examples, like rigging a competition between boys and girls by directly removing one of the more skilled players on the boys' team in order to skew the results blatantly on camera.
Right.
But before going back to some of the more hard-hitting infractions here, I want to read and discuss a statement made by Chucky, who appears to be a high-level MrBeast team member who has taken it upon himself to debunk these allegations with one of the worst responses you can possibly imagine.
A high-level MrBeast doofus. Yeah, these answers are absolutely horrible, but here we go.
Normally I just read bullet points or summarize, but for this one I'm going to go point by point, one by one. Quote, "I quickly want to debunk some of the info in this video since the guy who made it was on my team. It was my decision to fire him for erratic behavior. He worked at the company for less than a month and wasn't an employee for most of the videos he mentions to have knowledge on. There's so much in this video, and I want to specifically address him saying our videos are fake or staged because this is not true, and I was on set for many of those videos." End quote. Okay, all right, cool, man. Let's hear it. Quote, "You won't get in a video unless you're family or friends with someone that works at Beast. This is a wild statement that can easily be proven wrong. There's probably hundreds or thousands of people who have no affiliation to friends/family of Beast employees. Think the 456 people in Squid Game or ages 1 through 100, etc. Jimmy doesn't more than like a dozen people, LOL." End quote. Response? Sure. In the grand scheme of his YouTube channel, MrBeast can certainly point to a multitude of examples where people that aren't directly on or affiliated with the production team were part of videos. There were other creators, there's verified instances where a few random fans were chosen for things or won very large sums of money. But here's an example of what that looks like.
Alright, to us.
Whoa, Tim. You sure you don't?
Oh yeah, I remember this guy. Yes, I remember this. Yeah, he won $1 million. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah. Such a large amount of money to just be handed out of nowhere. Insane.
Was it cheaper one? I'm just messing. You got $1 million. Yeah, he's rich, damn.
You have $1 million. I don't believe this is real.
It is.
Man, this is crazy.
This is only a small percentage of what you have.
I don't even know how I'm gonna spend it all. This is unreal.
They gave this man 24 hours to spend $1 million. He did, while they crack jokes about how rich he is and all this other stuff. But a few years later, he came out and said this.
He did help me financially, but like giving me money for, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. That's why I'm trying to word it differently. But he did give me funds, but I just wish instead of like just, because it's okay to get funds, but to help me invest and to help me be able to be stable on my own without his money, you know?
Yeah, I honestly think that's a little bit irresponsible. In a way, it's a little bit irresponsible as a kind of game show host or provider or whatever to give somebody such a large amount of money that more money than they could have ever imagined, right? And you're skewing their perspective on this money, like they're going out with you and spending it all, and oh, you have so much money, just keep spending and spending and spending, no big deal. I feel like there really should be some sort of course or like some sort of session with a financial advisor, like a long session, like a full 8-hour session or something, where everything can be broken down. Like, here's the best ways to handle your money. Like, make sure you have an awareness of your spending, and just because you have so much money, don't get rid of like a budget or get rid of like a ledger to keep track of everything that you're spending. The frame of reference is just not there. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of label that gets put on this sort of thing where, you know, somebody running into a large sum of money, they don't know how to handle it, and then they spend it all because it's just overwhelming. And that's the kind of thing that needs to get addressed with these large amounts of money being given away. I think there needs to be more responsibility for your winner.
So that's probably one thing I would do differently too. That was the best example I can give you is when we had planned out the house and stuff. I literally
I will add, though, of course, it's a person's personal decisions to spend all their money, and of course, you know, you can't claim full accountability for somebody else's actions. The only accountability they have is, hey, we're handing you the large amount of money, and you could say that they should provide more help for the person, but of course, they are responsible for their own actions. If they spend it all, that's their choice.
Had an hour. He had somebody come to my house, and we sat down and we planned all this in an hour. Yeah, they came to my house and we planned this out in about an hour. So I wish I would have had more time, and I wish I would have did a couple things differently on the time management side, which I guess I really couldn't help because I had to spend it. I had to spend the money, and I had to like do all this. So
Yeah, there's this thing called sudden wealth syndrome. It's a psychological phenomenon where people who don't typically have a lot of money suddenly acquire a very large amount of it, and then proceed to make impulsive, irrational, or self-detrimental decisions, leaving them as bad or worse off than they were before at the end.
Yeah, and there's this like perspective issue that people have, right? If you spend with your card and you don't see the money going out, it's like out of sight, out of mind, right? So you can just keep spending and spending, thinking, oh, there's more in there, there's more in there. Things like that, and especially with the large amount, you keep thinking that, oh, it's a large amount, I can just keep spending. I have so much money, I can just keep spending. It's no big deal, there's more, I can just keep spending. And then you run out. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about.
End of it all. A lot of people probably know of this because when someone wins the Powerball or the lottery or whatever it is, they oftentimes end up back to being broke within a short span of time because they're making really strange decisions because of sudden wealth syndrome. MrBeast gives out all this money, but he intentionally condensed the timeline for this winner to a point where he had zero hope of rational decision making. For the sake of pushing YouTube content, he completely destroyed any chance that this man had of having a truly responsible outcome, which would involve hiring a financial planner, setting up a retirement fund, investing in diversified assets, etc., all of which takes time. He intentionally disallowed that from happening. For the sake of making a video more exciting and more clickable for the Zoomer kids hoping to get rich someday off of him, he
Yeah, I mean, and this is exactly what I was talking about, this kind of stuff, you know, having a financial advisor sit down with you. It doesn't have to be like a long, like some sort of full-on course or something that's 3 months or whatever. Yeah, I could see how that would be unreasonable, but just a short session, like, hey, let's just go through the bullet points and I'll give you a packet and you can take it home and kind of use that as your frame of reference and guide with your spending and your controlling your finances. Anything would have been better than just nothing, and definitely better than the rushed video that we're talking about where he made the guy spend his money in like 24 hours or something like that.
Funneled this winner into a pathway of completely irresponsible decision making. And I think we need to acknowledge that when we're discussing the random people who go on these game shows trying to win it big. Anyway, reading on. Next claim, quote, "The train track was CGI, the bus wheels are CGI, the pit is fake. He acts like he's exposing us for using CGI to make backgrounds look cool when we have done multiple public behind-the-scenes videos with So Crispy showing this."
Yeah, again, this one, not really a big deal to me. You know, CGI, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. You're going to use effects if you have that available to you to try and make your video look cooler or have more engaging bits or whatever. So I have nothing against this.
It's clearly not a secret. On top of that, we did drive buses in that pit, and same with the train that you claim we didn't, end quote. That part, in my opinion, is totally fine.
Right.
I didn't raise that point in my own coverage because I think it's incredibly weak. Editing things so that the bus wheels look like they're spinning is relatively harmless.
Yeah.
And doesn't strike me as a point that needed to be emphasized at all. Fair response, but not even one of the more important details. Reading on, the raccoon was a paid actor. I don't even know what to say about this. Clearly not an actor, lol. End quote. That was a joke? The guy was making a joke?
Yeah, and maybe that was just a joke response too. Who knows? But whatever, it's just part of it.
Responding to the joke as if it's serious is the hallmark of someone who actually can't respond to any substance. I'm sensing a pattern here. Bad look.
Yeah.
Quote, island cost more than $1. Not true. We did pay $1 for this island. You can Google MrBeast purchases Outer Banks Island for $1, which stated this before the video was released. End quote.
Also, upper echelon, why are you using light mode on Twitter, man? This is just burning my eyes.
Yes, fact check, true. The island was sold for $1 with $27 in other taxes and fees afterwards, but that same island is now being leased back to the original owners. Not sure what to make of it, but fine. Island got sold for $1 as a gimmick. He's doing all right so far. Not the worst response ever, but he's not responding to anything of substance.
Exactly. That was my point when I went through this too. It's like, what are you doing, man? You're trying to debunk the video, and nothing is getting debunked here.
At all. Quote, he moved into a mansion 2 months before being in a video, $1 million mansion. He talks about how 2 months before we filmed the first Mac video that he moved into a mansion, Mac was staying at a friend's house, and I'm not sure how that proves anything or why it's relevant, end quote. That's not even a response, that's worthless, but also the initial claim is somewhat irrelevant as well, because this...
Agreed. This is not really the most important it's not the most important or glaring issue at all.
Whole who works on the team and when storyline just doesn't matter. It's not hard-hitting.
Yep.
Moving on. Quote, this wink was added in post. Bruh, he really did wink. This is a flat-out lie again. End quote. Maybe. I don't know. Not a good look if the wink is real and it's one of the things he's claiming was added in post. If that's just a factual discrepancy there. Again, not...
Yeah, again, just very small point. Not even important to note, really.
Good, but none of this matters. Chucky is picking around the edges.
Right.
He's not even pretending to address a single thing that matters.
Right.
Down below, here he goes again, hyperfixating on stuff that means absolutely nothing. I'm actually going to skip this because it's a waste of mine and everyone else's time. But then finally, Chucky says something that matters about something that matters and completely blows up his own response.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Oh, man. Just blatantly admitting to faking videos. Here we go.
Quote, not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers. He claims our 100 boys versus 100 girls video is scripted, and the proof is a random text saying it is, that's it. It was not scripted. Jimmy probably had countless people on set for that video, and it would have been impossible to hide. This video was not scripted.
I like how he emphasizes twice. It was not scripted. You know what? This video was not scripted. Like, just in case you didn't believe it the first time, like, hey, trust me, bro, I'll say it twice. It's not scripted. It's not scripted.
I was on set for this, and there was no bias for who won. He also implies the video is fake because we have some employees on each team. The employees in the video were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID last minute right before filming. Thea, Jimmy's girlfriend, mentioned this on a podcast over a year ago. If it wasn't for COVID, they would have not been in it. They had the same dollars on the line as everyone else. Some random text of someone thinking it was rigged doesn't mean it's rigged, LOL. End quote.
There you go. It's not 100 contestants versus 100 contestants. It's, well, whatever number of employees there were, plus whatever number of contestants were able to actually show up to equal 100. So, therefore, therein, the video is fake. It's not 100 random people.
There it is, right there. He completely destroys his own response, and let's showcase precisely why. There is no bias for who won. Wrong. Chucky, you are wrong.
Yep.
This is a lie. During that challenge, there was a twist where whichever team could solve 100 Rubik's Cubes first would be fine, but the loser would have their circle that they had to stay inside cut in half, directly influencing their ability to win the challenge overall. You can quibble about how much that change impacted their ability to win overall, a little bit or a lot, but it did impact them. During that Rubik's Cube event, let's call it, MrBeast identified publicly that there was just one boy and one girl able to solve the cubes. He makes a whole big deal out of it, actually. But then, again, right in the video, he says, we're going to make things interesting and offer the one guy in there who knows how to solve them $10,000 to leave the video. which he does. The boy leaves. The team is then quite obviously unable to continue competing in that event with any.
We're going to make things interesting by skewing the challenge in the girls' favor just out of nowhere for no good reason. Maybe to protect him and his channel from, some crazy PC ideology or whatever. I don't know. We have to let the girls have a better chance than the boys so that we don't get taken down for not being fair to girls somehow. Therein making the challenge unfair. It's so strange, whatever that logic may be, if that was the case. But anyway.
Real chance at completing it. And MrBeast goes across to the girls' team and says, quote, "I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave. Now, if you don't win, that was all for nothing. So win for me." That's called bias, Chucky.
Yeah.
Fucking moron. Also, wonderfully enough, it's a violation of 47 USC 509, which states it shall be
breaking out the laws. Here we go.
Unlawful by means of persuasion, bribery, intimidation, or otherwise to induce or cause any contestant in a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge or intellectual skill to refrain in any manner from using or displaying his knowledge or skill in such contest, whereby the outcome thereof will be in whole or in part prearranged or predetermined.
Boom. Boom. Okay. And we don't know for sure if so this is broadcasting law, right? Yeah, for broadcasting. Okay. We don't know if this applies to YouTube, or at least I don't. And so I don't know if this applies to MrBeast or not in this case. But either way, it's a really bad look. I mean, it's a really bad look, right? You're paying off people who would have had a chance to even out the odds between the girls and boys in that specific stage of the competition. I mean, it really could have been close. And they just made it so, okay, the girls are pretty much guaranteed to win. It's a bad look, man. It really is.
End quote. And the girls did win the overall challenge, meaning that the only real question is whether or not the world's largest YouTube channel, with hundreds of millions of followers and views, is governed by broadcasting laws, or if they are somehow immune to the governing regulations of game shows, traditional game shows, despite having a larger audience and higher prize money than any other similar program.
I mean, that was my point exactly, right? Who knows if they're governed by the same rules or laws. I don't know if they should be. I kind of lean towards yes, they should, or at the very least, those broadcasting laws need to be adapted for the modern day, internet landscape. And it still makes sense. I mean, why is it fair to pay off somebody and remove them from a competition? It's not just, hey, this is a video for fun only. I mean, yes, it is a video for fun for the viewers, but you're bringing in people and you're saying 100 boys versus 100 girls versus it's a competition. You're competing. You're trying to win. You're trying to win prize money. So I don't know. I think specifically those rules where, you shouldn't be able to buy somebody out and remove talent from a competition, I think that should apply.
To be fair, that question can actually be debated heavily. But what can't be debated is the fact that MrBeast directly influenced the challenge and the winning team in a biased way openly, which in part affected the results.
Right.
Point blank, period, Chucky. The rest of the response is more useless garbage. He doesn't even make a passing attempt at refuting anything of substance. And the entire thing boils down to a simplified claim that the other guy is lying. MrBeast hasn't done anything wrong. But from where I sit, this is a pretty stunning example of someone doing things wrong that are predatory and unethical, as the metaphorical levee breaks and the world kind of wakes up to the fact of who they are and what they do.
Yeah. Anybody who watches this stuff that was a MrBeast fan, I mean, I could still see them just being hardcore MrBeast fans just because they are. I mean, I think we've all had those situations where we're a fan of something and we choose to ignore things that are negative aspects just because we're such a hardcore fan. I know this happens. I mean, I've seen it happen. But I would at least hope that fans who see this kind of stuff would take a second and just be like, can I admit to myself that some of this is unethical or bad? Yes, hopefully. Hopefully the fans can do that.
Actually, the final outro is worth reading, and it goes like this, quote, Jimmy spends unfathomable amounts of money and time to ensure the integrity of what he does, and I hate to see it come into question with a bunch of lies. Dawson, if you leave this up, then you're a hypocrite, end quote. But from where I sit, it is painfully clear that MrBeast's competitions have zero integrity. He openly manipulates the results in a multitude of ways. There's many, many more examples. I told some of them in the prior video, which again is linked down below.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a bunch of examples. This debunking response is completely worthless, and the real substance of the initial video itself has nothing to do with just editing the videos. The real substance is selling merchandise on a live stream while you tell everyone someone who buys a shirt in the next 5 minutes will get thousands of dollars in the package, which causes people to spam buy your t-shirts, which you profit from. And then when the 5 minutes are over, you say, wait, don't we owe someone money? Okay, someone who buys in the next 30 seconds will get the money in their order. Thus,
just constantly moving the goalpost. Yeah. Hey, we owe somebody money. Let's do it again. Oh, we forgot. We should do it again. 30 seconds more or 5 minutes more. Next 5 minutes, guys. Come on. Bye, 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 bye. Yeah, it is pretty scummy.
invalidating the purchase of anyone who bought the shirt during those first 5 minutes to have a shot at winning prize money because you changed the rules.
Right.
That is, in no uncertain terms, illegal, okay? And it's further emphasized by the deletion of those live streams because they know it's illegal.
Yeah, the covering stuff up, the sweeping the dust under the rug is just so bad. It looks so bad. Oh, man.
And they didn't want to face consequences for their predatory behavior and gimmicky, horrible tactics. The MrBeast team is falling apart. Ava Chris Tyson is now a full-blown multi-viral scandal that just keeps on getting worse. The predatory reality of how they organize competitions and merchandise was not debunked. It was made exponentially worse by another employee now saying, there is no bias and Jimmy spends unfathomable amounts of money to ensure the integrity of what he does. But again, the atmosphere I see is one where a channel that pretty much always exploited people, hiding under an extremely thin and very disingenuous veneer of,
yeah, there is no integrity, at least after everything that I've seen. I have a really hard time saying that the MrBeast channel has integrity.
but we give it all away. We're so charitable while they get filthy rich off of underage gambling and people's desperation in the background, is now losing public support. I think it's deserved, but time will tell. That's it. Not sure if I'll cover the Ava Chris Tyson stuff. It's got about as much public scrutiny as humanly possible right now anyway, so it's not like I'd bring anything unique or new to the table, but this angle seems to be quite a bit less well-known, so it felt worth it.
Yeah.
If you want to support the channel, there's links down below, a special VPN deal, locals and Patreon, and more, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, question everything, and have a nice night.
Good stuff, upper echelon. Man, MrBeast and team, what are you guys doing? You're just fumbling the ball, fumbling the bag, and it's for all of our entertainment. Oh, man. Yeah, sweeping the dust under the rug by removing that 5-hour video on the Facebook page. You didn't think that wouldn't be noticed? You didn't think anybody would notice that, huh? Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Great work by Upper Echelon. We already went over a lot of that post in the previous video, but I thought it was worth it because Upper Echelon does just such great work. And it was worth it. That was a great video. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's see if any more comes out about MrBeast. We'll just have to keep our eyes peeled.